a time in a child's life, after the first year or so, when most of the child's life is about the mother or whoever the caregiver is, that the child begins to stand up, and at first goes through a stage called cruising, where they can't really walk, but they can hang on to things and move around with their legs, as long as they're holding onto a little table or something. But eventually, magically, they learn balance with those little feet, and they're able to walk on their own. And then a whole new world opens up to them, an entirely new world, because for the first time, they can actually wander and look ahead and chart a course for themselves that doesn't have to do with the parents. They're not completely dependent anymore. And they can, this is an interesting time for the parents because they have to keep an eye on the child all the time because they can just take off. And what they found is that the most ideal way of parenting, that the child feels the best, is that there's an allowance for the child to have an adventure, go around the corner, maybe be out of sight of his parents. But the only way it works is if the child knows two things. One, that if he or she gets in trouble and cries, the parents are close enough to come running. And two, that while he or she is gone, something won't happen to the parents so that when he or she gets back, they're not there. If those things happen, if the child falls and no one comes, or if the child returns and there's no one there, it changes things. It brings fear into the equation. And usually the adventurous, some spirit, takes a different turn. Either the child will not want to venture out at all for fear of loss of the parent, or they'll just feel like, well, I guess I'm on my own. And it's just a tiny little analogy to what happens with human beings. What's created when you believe that there is no God? Nobody's going to be here to help you when you fall. Or when you come back from your adventure and you find that there's no parent anymore, is what's called existential anxiety. It's at the base of everything. All the psychological problems, all the physical problems are all based on this existential anxiety. It's a false belief that you are indeed disconnected, that you're on your own. The cavalry is not coming. And it's why people get depressed and feel anxious and search for other means of either distraction or a special relationship that would be like God for them. And of course, that other person can't be God for them. And this is why it's important to understand that all of that, the thoughts that you have, the conclusions that you draw, the fears that you live by, are an illusion. None of it is true. Your father and mother have been with you the whole time. They're there with you when you fall, and they're fine when you get back. And nothing has changed. And you are free to have your adventure with the confidence that you're always connected. And indeed, it's not even possible to be disconnected. It takes a while for people to actually entertain the notion that they've been dreaming. And thank goodness, at night they have the dream state, which evaporates in the morning. So every single day, if they look, they'll see, oh, that wasn't real. A lot of that stuff wasn't real. To reach the conclusion that your life, the way you're seeing it, isn't real, is quite a leap. But it's very helpful to see that this is your dream and that you're the projector. And that behind it all is well. And you can move through your day feeling lighthearted and carefree, knowing that all is well. Allow yourself to be in that place where all is well. And you don't have to understand everything. You don't have to know every complicated layer. Just be in the experience that all is well. And it is. This one heard someone on a podcast talk about advice that his father had given him. And the little boy had asked his father, "Is everything going to be okay?" He said, "Everything is going to be all right, but you have to be all right with everything." There's a lot of wisdom in that. Be all right with it all, because everything is okay. Ask for help and expect to get it. And you'll break through the illusion of separation and fear. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.